Hey everybody, Alex Kazora, SteelersDepot.com, back with some Pittsburgh Steelers preview and prediction for this week for Sunday afternoon. We love the afternoon games as opposed to the night games between the Pittsburgh Steelers and Houston Texans. Pittsburgh 2-1, Houston 1-2. Let's talk about this game. And if you guys could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I'd really appreciate that. Starting with the Texans offense and CJ Stroud, their quarterback, second overall pick, the rookie. He's been really impressive. The stats say that, the tape says that, and you look at this team big picture, they have no run game. Their offensive line is a mess, and it's a bigger mess this week than it was last week, but they've had a ton of injuries. Their left tackle's been out, their right tackle's been out, their starting center's been out, and yet Stroud has thrown 4 touchdowns, no picks. He's been sacked a bunch too. And so generally, whenever you have no run game and a bad offensive line, injured offensive line, your quarterback's going to struggle, especially when he's a rookie, and Stroud has not. He had a really impressive 2-minute drive, end of the first half against Jacksonville. I mean, they really beat up on Jacksonville. No one talks about that. 37-17. The Jags were one of the trendy teams entering the season. So it's a lot of credit to Stroud and the play calling and the scheme. And they got a bunch of guys coming over from San Francisco. D'Amico Ryans, the head coach, Bobby Slowick, the offensive coordinator, and you see that 49ers flair in the run game, which is struggle, but they have talent in Dameon Pierce, and they use a fullback quite a bit. Some of those Zorro tosses, more of a zone scheme than a man scheme. And Pittsburgh, I think, struggles more against zone-based running teams than more of the power man and duo teams like the Raiders, who they did a really effective job of shutting down in week number 3. So there's some weapons too. Maybe not any giant names, but Nico Collins has had a really good start to the season. He's a big, tall bleeper who can win downfield. Tank Dell, the rookies, they're Calvin Austin. He's small, but he's fast, and he's been a playmaker for them. He's been successful since getting drafted earlier this year out of Houston. And then Robert Woods is a guy that's basically their Allen Robinson in the sense of he's the crafty veteran, the third down guy, the option route guy. He's going to be split out of the backfield. They're going to use some split back looks, some option routes, and he's a guy that is second or tied second in the NFL with 8 third down receptions. That leads the Texans, so he's kind of their go-to guy in those gotta-have-it situations. So there's some real weapons in terms of the skill guys overall. Now the offensive line does look a wreck. They're on their third string left tackle, and Kendrick Green's at left guard, and they're on a rookie center. The right tackle situation's veteran George Fant. So certainly where Pittsburgh has the advantage in this one, at least they should, is in the trenches and more specifically with their pass rush. And so if Pittsburgh's going to win this game, it's going to be because they really get after Stroud. They put him in and-long situations, take away the run, and they really just start stacking positive plays. But so far, Stroud has been able to, I think, be successful in the face of that. But he's a guy that may be a rookie, and yes, Pittsburgh does have historically a ton of success against rookies, but Stroud looks like the real deal to me, and their, I think, pass concepts and their scheme to get guys open is really effective. A lot of crossers, Yankee concepts. They do a good job overall, I think, of scheming guys open, and they have some talent to throw to. Defensively, the run defense, I think, is pretty middling. They want to be the 49ers, but they don't have the talent quite yet. They don't have the guys in the middle, and they don't have the off-ball linebackers the way the 49ers have Greenlaw and Fred Warner. There's some more athleticism, some more one-gappers inside, and that interior defensive line. Malik Collins is kind of that type of dude, but I think Pittsburgh kind of has a similar scheme to the Raiders game where it's a little less perimeter stuff, a little more downhill, more man blocking than zone blocking, and Nate Herbig's going to start at right guard for James Daniels, and Herbig's, a beefy dude who's going to try to create movement. That's going to be better for Pittsburgh, so I think there's an opportunity for the Steelers to run the ball. And I really want them to be more effective than they were against the Raiders. They had more success against the Raiders than they did against the 49ers or the Browns, but still, I think can be better. I think it needs to be against the Houston Texans. You look at their, edge guys. They got Will Anderson, the rookie. They traded back up for him at number 3 after taking Stroud at 2. He's a guy that's been active. The stats aren't super gaudy. Just 1 sack for him, 3 sacks for, I believe, the team. But he's a guy that's really effective on stunts. He's going to see a lot of a core for at right tackle in this game, but he's going to loop inside quite a bit. And so I think how a core 4 and Herbig work together, and they don't have a lot of time together necessarily, that's going to be important to to look at. They're not a super exotic blitzing team overall, but they're going to run some games and twists and stunts up front. Coverage-wise, it's a solid secondary. They've had some injuries. There's no Derek Stingley. They're getting back Jalen Petre, who's one of my favorite guys. When he came out of Baylor, he played that star position under Dave Aranda, and he's a really physical guy that had a great rookie year. He's coming back from a bruised lung. He's going to play in this game. That's going to be important for them. They mix up man and zone a fair amount from what I saw on tape. More zone against 2x2 formations, more man against 3x1, but they're going to mix things up a pretty decent amount. They're not going to give you the same look every single time. So, how well does Pittsburgh combat that? I think they've had some coverage busts because it's a new defense, new coaching staff. They've had some of the injuries, and so I think they've kind of blown a couple coverages. So can Pittsburgh be able to, run some switch routes? And I think at a bunch, can they maybe create some confusion that way? It's going to be pretty important in this game. So for my prediction, and you may like this actually in a sense, but I know you won't in another sense. I got Houston winning this one. I think people are sleeping on the Texans. And the score, I should say, 23-17. I got the Texans over the Steelers. Now, the good news is I've been wrong 2 of the 3 games. I did pick the Raiders game. I think that was kind of a layup, though, but I'll still take it. So odds are the Steelers will actually win this game, but I got Houston in this one. I think Stroud's been throwing it really well. I know that Pittsburgh's pass rush can be the X factor and really the game breaker in this one. I think Minkah Fitzpatrick, how he does against a rookie and Stroud's going to be a really important thing. A top flight free safety against a rookie quarterback. Those are always matchups to talk about, but they got a bunch of weapons. I think that defense is solid enough. Pittsburgh's on the road for back-to-back games. They got some injuries too. No James Daniels and no Presley Harvin, their punter, who's been a really key piece in why Pittsburgh has won these last 2 games. They're 2 victories of the season, and I just think people are sleeping on a talented Houston team that's going in the right direction, coming off a really convincing win over a good Jaguars club. So those are my thoughts on the game. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Who are you picking to win this game? Are you going to agree with me? I'm in the extreme minority. I've only seen a couple people pick the Texans. I think it's almost, 9 to 90%, I should say, I think are picking the Steelers, it feels like. So I'm in that slim 10% there. But let me know who you're taking in this one, Pittsburgh or Houston. Obviously hoping for a Steelers victory. It'd be great to go to 3-1 as you get ready for Baltimore in Week 5 with the bye on the other side of that. And hopefully you get back Deontay Johnson and get closer to Cam Hayward returning. But anyway, I'll wrap this thing up. We'll have coverage for you guys on the other side after the game on Sunday. Thank you so much for watching. Please like this video. Please subscribe to the channel as well. Again, thank you, and we'll talk to you soon.